Hi everyone. You might have seen this meme that you need a job to get experience, but you need experience to get your first job. This is not funny for you if you're experiencing this in the first hand. Especially if you're looking for a entry-level data science roles, you might see that even the entry-level data science roles requires 2 years of experience or even more. But how to get your first data science job if you don't have a prior experience in it? In this video, we are going to talk about exactly 2 things that you have to do with a live walkthrough of what I did to get my first data science job. Thank you for watching this video and let's get started. So the first thing that you have to do is do non-cliché projects. First of all, if you are in the stage of doing projects instead of just being stuck in the tutorial hell, kudos to you. It is a great thing that you want to do projects. But it is easy to go through a YouTube tutorial, follow the code that they have taught you, and just implement it by copy pasting the code, right? Everyone can do that, right? And there are a lot of cliche projects like Titanic prediction, cats and dogs classification, house price prediction, etc. And you can see like hundreds or even thousands of tutorials on YouTube on how to do this. If that's the case, if you just think about it, if you got to know about this project, so does the hiring manager know the same thing, right? He has to go through thousands of resumes every single day, and which means he can see a lot of people doing the same kind of projects and adding it on their resumes, right? So if you ask me, Hari, what to do then? What are non-cliche projects exactly? It is so simple. Don't do a project because you have a data set for it. Do a project because you identified a problem, even in your real life, and then search for the data which might be suitable for the problem that you're trying to solve. But let's not make this video a theory video. Let me show you exactly what I would do if I have to do a project from scratch. Let's take a cats and dogs project as an example. You can find a lot of tutorials on YouTube. You can just watch the video first. If you're trying to do a computer vision project and a classification problem in it, you can exactly understand how cats and dogs classification works. That would be a first step. But just don't dive into it. Don't open your project. Don't copy paste the code. Don't add it on your resume. Instead, what are you going to achieve by doing the cats and dogs project? It is available everywhere, right? You're not going to change anything just by copying the code. So instead, what if we can use the learnings that we got from cats and dogs project and do a similar project, follow the same strategy, same methodology, but let's solve a different problem based on it. What if we do a cuisine classification, Indian cuisine versus Mexican cuisine? It might be a little intimidating if you think about it because you might not get the dataset so easily. But it would be the case for every non-cliche project, right? You can't just go to Kaggle and search for Indian versus Mexican cuisine and download the dataset because I randomly came up with the project idea just now. So how exactly to get the data? It is so simple. That's where web scraping plays an important role. If you're a data scientist and if you also have the skill of web scraping, it's easier for you to just scrape data over the internet and use it in your project. You might have already guessed where to get a data set from, right? Either you can just directly Google it and go to Google Images, just search for Indian cuisines and you'll find the list of all Indian food items over there. And you can search for Mexican cuisine and you can see the Mexican food items over there. Or you can go to any food delivery websites like Swiggy, Zomato, Uber Eats, DoorDash, etc. And if you just search for Indian restaurants, you'll see a list of Indian restaurants. And if you go inside it, you can find the images of the Indian food or Mexican food. You can use web scraping to just download all the images. Now you have your own data set of cats and dogs. But only in this case, instead of cats and dogs, you have Indian cuisine versus Mexican cuisine. So does this change anything? No, you just have to follow the tutorial that you watched. Just implement all the steps that you have learned for the cats and dogs, but instead do it for Indian cuisine versus Mexican cuisine. Now don't try to copy this same exact idea. Now, if you go to all the cliche projects, you can easily come up with some project which is relevant and similar to the cliche ones, but you can solve some problem which you're facing in your real life. Here I have a list of non-cliche projects which can be similar to the most famous projects that you have seen on the internet for any data science project. You can follow same methodology, but just the different problem statement. For example, instead of doing a cliche project like stock price prediction or weather prediction, you can do onion price prediction, tomato price prediction. By doing something like the onion price prediction, you can easily see the change in your life. Next time when you go to grocery shopping, you know that why the onion is so high and what is the seasonality behind it, etc. For a regression, instead of doing a house price prediction, what if you could do predicting traffic congestion based on local events? Let's say for an NLP project, instead of doing sentiment analysis of movie reviews or customer review analysis, what if you can do a non-cliche project like detecting biased languages in news articles? And for a computer vision project, what if instead of doing a cliche projects like face recognition or mask recognition, which is widely available on the internet, you can do something like detecting plant diseases from images in agriculture. While the underlying tech stack and the skills that you have to use to do these projects remains the same, even if you do the popular project or the non-cliche project, doing these non-cliche projects will help you give an upper hand in your interviews. You can speak about a story or the analysis that you have done for these projects, and you can tell the hiring manager why exactly you did this project and what is the outcome based on the project. And you have better chances to get interviewed if your resume is filled with these kind of projects. So here comes my point number 2. This sounds like a paradox. You might not know what it means. Let me clarify that. So based on the point number 1 that we discussed, to do non-cliche projects, you can do 5 projects, 50 projects or 500 projects. But you're not going to include all the projects on your resume, right? The maximum projects that you could include on a resume can be like 3 to 5 projects. That's it. But what about the section experience? The experience section will be empty, right? Let's say you have done 5 non-cliche projects and there is a person who has worked in a company for 3 months, like an internship, a data science internship, and he has applied for the role. Now the hiring manager would have a bias towards that guy because he has a practical experience working in an industry instead of just doing personal projects by sitting at home. But if you ask me, Hari, isn't that the problem that we are trying to solve here? Yes, it is. But it is not a difficult task to do a freelancing project along with your personal projects. And you can add the freelancing project in your experience section. But who would give me a freelancing project if I don't have any experience? That's what we're going to discuss in this section. First, let's start with the closed circle. Try to speak with your friends or family. If they are doing a business or a startup, try to tell them that you're learning data science, and you can approach them and you can tell them, you're having this data, let me help you analyze those data and give you some insightful insights from those data. Try to do that, but not everyone would have the privilege to have a closed circle who is doing a business or a startup. If that's the case, what can we do? Let's go through a live walkthrough of what I did when I didn't have any experience with a couple of projects in my resume. First up, go to LinkedIn, go to the search bar and search for founders and CEOs in your particular area. In my case, let me search for New York. You can see a list of founders or CEOs who are in their early stage. When you reach out to these people, make sure that they are running a tech product, because that's where you have a lot of data and you can actually put your skills into action. What I did was I sent this exact message to hundreds of founders which I found on LinkedIn, and I told them that, hey, I'm Hari and I'm learning data science and these are the projects that I've done. I can help your company to analyze your data and bring insights, or I can use my machine learning skills to do so and so. Send this message to all the founders that you get in your search results. Most of the founders would actually ignore the message, but maybe 5 to 10 founders might even reply to your messages. So once they reply to your message, ask for a quick 30-minute call. Before going to the call, make sure to analyze the entire company, what they do, go through their website. If they have a product, sign up to the product, do a thorough research of what they do, go through their LinkedIn pages, LinkedIn profiles, and their company pages, their blogs, etc. and come up with 3 exact projects or problems that you see in their product. And during the call, just state them that, so I see these 3 problems in your product, or if you don't want to be negative, tell them that I see these 3 improvements in your product. And here are my personal projects that I've done, which are very similar to address these problems. So would you be interested if I do a similar project for your company? If you're starting for the first time, it might be difficult for you to get an S for this answer. So instead, what you could do is you can do a single project for free of cost. Don't charge them anything. Once they like the first project, start charging from the next project. I feel it is unethical if you have to work for free. But if you have literally 0 points to add in your experience section, think of it like an interview where you're doing a task and you can consider your first project to be your interview. You can take up a very easy project and you can spend 2 or 3 days of your time to complete that project, which is an opportunity for you to impress the founder and keep getting more projects from them. By following this exact process, I've helped over 4 or 5 startups in my past 2 years. If I can do it, you should be able to do it as well. And it'll be easier for you once you have helped 1 or 2 startups and you can add that on your resume. And your life is going to be easier once you have experience, once you have more projects in your portfolio to showcase your skills and to find your niche in that area. I know it's difficult for an entry-level data science aspirant to get your first data science job. Keep improving your skills. Try to follow these 2 action plans that we have discussed in this video, and I wish you the best to get your first data science job. Thanks for watching this video. If you're just getting started in data science, make sure to check out my YouTube channel. I'll be posting a lot about how to build your profile in data science and how to get your first job, how to learn data science from scratch and analyze how the data science market is, etc. If this sounds interesting to you, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching this video. Have a great one. Bye.